For decades, he was the immovable object of American politics. Richard Bruce Cheney, the chief architect of the War on Terror, the man who proudly embraced the nickname Darth Vader, and the one who looked the world in the eye and said he had zero regrets. He was a Washington fixture who survived 5 heart attacks and a hunting accident, seemingly impervious to mortality and certainly to public opinion. He was defined by his certainty, his refusal to flinch. But his death this week at 84 reveals a shocking secret. According to private correspondence and final journals, the man we thought we knew, the rigid, unyielding ideologue, was in his final years a man haunted. This is the story of the remorse he never offered the public, but confessed to history. Cheney's legacy will always begin with the Iraq War, his political triumph, and his moral disaster. He was the loudest voice insisting Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. The infamous slam dunk intelligence that led America into a conflict that cost thousands of American lives and destabilized an entire region. For 20 years, he defended that decision fiercely. But his journals tell a different, devastating story. He wrote, "It was never the intelligence that failed us," he penned. "It was the conviction. We wanted to be right so badly. We took the whisper and amplified it to a shout. That is unforgivable. Not the error, but the pride that kept us from conceding the error." This wasn't the voice of a man defending a policy. It was a ghost counting the cost. He finally realized his pride had been the deadliest weapon of all. The second great stain on his record was the implementation of torture. He called them enhanced interrogation techniques, waterboarding, sleep deprivation, the whole secret architecture of the dark side he believed was necessary to prevent a second 9/11. When confronted, his response was always the same: "I'd do it again in a minute." But the true price of that mindset, he confessed, was the damage it did to America itself. In a final, profound letter to his family, Cheney confessed he came to view the dark side not as a strategic necessity, but as a moral compromise. "We drew a line in the sand after September 11th and determined that anything to keep us safe was acceptable. But the line we drew was around our own decency. I believed we were strong enough to work the dark side without becoming it. I was wrong." He was terrified that the unlimited power he fought to centralize in the White House, the secrecy, the unitary executive, would be turned against the Republic. The great, public irony of his final years was his transformation into a staunch critic of Donald Trump. The man who once defined the hard right was now an outcast, calling Trump the greatest threat to our republic. This wasn't just a political split. It was the moment he realized the consequences of his own architecture. The tools of unchecked executive power he forged in the name of security were now being wielded to undermine democracy itself. He saw the foundation he laid being used to erect a structure he despised. His final, stunning political act, voting for the Democratic nominee, Kamala Harris, was his last, desperate attempt to put country above partisanship. The man who never said sorry spent his final years writing a secret apology. An apology for certainty, for pride, and for believing that the ends justified any means. The Darth Vader of Washington died a penitent in private, leaving behind a generation of conflict that his own daughter is now left to fight. Dick Cheney's life was a masterclass in power. His death is a testament to its limits. The ghost of his guilt remains, a chilling reminder that every decision made in the name of security comes with a soul-crushing cost, and that sometimes the only person left to forgive you is history itself.